Hi guys, how are you? So today we are going to teach you how to change the electric guitar strings, and we have an ESP LTD EX50. So not a lot of guitarists I have seen they're using it, but I love it. The tonality is damn good and it's best for studio recording, you can say. So let's go into it. The video about today is for extreme beginners who basically, I don't know, they don't know how to change the strings. They go to the shop, they pay a lot of money in order to get the mechanics done, and I don't know, they have a fear that how to change the strings and all of that. So anyways, those guitarists who have just started playing and they bought their new guitar, so it's essential for you to basically play as much as you can, and after that, at least after 5-6 months, when you see that the strings are getting a little bit rusty, that's the time when you have to change your strings. Now, a few things I want to talk about before we go into this. Number one is that as a guitarist, I've been playing for like 10 years now, so I don't need the guitar tuner at this stage in order to tune my guitar. But for you guys, I would recommend that you can get one of those guitar tuners which you can stick over here, or you can get there are so many apps nowadays which are available on the phone where you can actually get your guitar tuned. Learn that, but I would recommend you to start tuning with your ear. We will talk about that in our next upcoming videos. Mr. Joel will also join us. He's the bassist of our band, so he will also share some lessons for the extreme beginners. So another thing would be a head winder, where we can wind the strings very quickly, but I don't need that actually. I spend time with the guitar. That's the beauty of the system. Now, another thing which you have to keep in mind is this part over here in the electric guitar, which is for the intonation, where if let's suppose there's an E on the open E strings, then there's another E on the 12. They must sound equally the same. Sometimes when you're playing on the 12th string, it sounds a little bit off. Instead of E, it's gonna sound as D flat, or maybe F. It depends. So make sure that you don't touch this if you don't have a knowledge of at all what you need to do with this. Get it done through the shop. That would be the main thing. So intonation is something which you have to learn about. You will get to learn about it through your experience. It cannot come within a day or two. It's gonna take time. So just practice well, and then we'll come about the intonation later in the upcoming videos. Now I wanted to talk about the strings itself. I have a Fender string set over here. The gauge is 10 and it's regular. You will see there are light, very light, super light, heavy, mid, like that. So there are all different kinds of gauges. It depends on what kind of guitar playing you guys want to go for, because in my case I'm a rhythm guitarist as well as the lead guitarist for my band. So I have to play both, and for that I need a medium level of a string, because if you go for a higher gauge, which is up to 12 or 13 gauge, or maybe 10 or 11 even, so it becomes a little bit hard for you at start to control them, and because it needs more pressure, it needs more dynamics in order to get that sound. But it sounds good though for the chords, but when it's about lead and everything, it becomes a bit difficult. And even for smaller hands, it becomes a very bit, a little bit tacky. Now, light string gauges, they always have the tendency to break, and but it is good for the lead guitaring. And if you're a lead guitarist, if you want to do those crazy solos and all, so I would recommend you go for 8 and 9 for a start, but eventually you will notice that at the end of the day you will come towards 9 and 10 mainly. So I use 10, which is fair for me. Earlier I used to go for Dario, but now I'm a big fan of Fender. I mean, they sound so nice. So another main important aspect which you have to keep in mind when you're changing the electric guitar string is basically the pickup levels. If you see, I'm not sure if are you able to capture this? So you see this guitar over here, this went down inside, this is a little bit up. So I have to balance this while I'm changing the string. This is important because this gives you the tonality that you are looking for. So I guess this is it. Let's go for the string change. Okay, so let's start the process now. The first step is to basically unwind all the strings of the guitar. As I mentioned that I don't use the head winder in order to do this quickly. I basically prefer the manual way. So let's go into it. Now when you're unwinding them, so we have to do it up to the level that it starts leaving this place, and it can easily come out just like this. Now we have to make sure that it starts coming off. If you can see this, and then basically you are done. So first we will take out all 6 strings from here, and then we'll continue at the bottom. So now we are done with all the strings, and we'll go at the bottom. So this is the beauty of this guitar now. All I need to do is just press these strings and it's gonna come out. So I'll do this with all, kind of like that. And there's one more easy way. This whole clip can come out as well, just like that. So I can easily unwind all the strings. Now make sure when you have these strings out in your hand, you dispose them off. Otherwise it can make some really big trouble for you. So now I have the strings in my hand. Make sure you dispose them off, in the dustbin securely. If you have kids in your house, especially do that for them. Mom, dad, anyone can get hurt from this. So now if you see, the levels of my humbuckers are basically quite off. I'm looking at that right now. So I'll make them, a little bit more balanced. So if I tighten them up, it's gonna come up, and I need that just above that level. That's all. And I'll do the same with this one as well. Now always keep in mind, we can always change them later if we want to, based on the sound that we'll be getting. So the strings will not come in the way, so don't worry about that part. Done. So now let's take out the strings and let's see what we have in this packet of Fender. Alrighty, so here we have point 10, which must be an E, point 13 B, then we have G, D, and then 36 is A, 0.46 is E again. So for beginners, most of the string packets have colors also. They advise you to follow the colors. Otherwise, after changing your strings 2-3 times, you'll come to know how to play with them. So let's take an E right now, and I'm gonna put that inside. I'm gonna unwind it like this. It's easy to do so once you get the knack of it. And it's gonna unwind itself, kind of like this. So the first thing I have to do is I will be inserting this through the first hole, and then I'm gonna catch over here. Doesn't matter if it goes off, it's okay. You can always fix this later. All the way to the top. And we'll do the same process with all the strings. Now make sure this piece goes inside this and it gets stuck into it. That's the main thing you have to make sure. Now one thing I forgot to mention over here, I'll show that in the video, that make sure you keep the order of the strings right. Since you're an extreme beginner, you have to keep it the way as the lower E, which is the thin one, then B, then G, then D, then A, then E again. So just make sure you keep that in order. Alright, now we are done with all 6 strings. They're attached from here. Now we will be going to attach them from the neck and in the keys. Just one technicality which you have to remember over here, that you always have to go, if you're a right hand guitarist, then obviously you will be doing it with your left hand. So you go like this towards the anti-clockwise or counterclockwise motion, then it's going to tighten up the strings, and in order to loose them up, you go clockwise. So let's do that now. Now don't worry about the strings. I don't want to cut them, but if you want to, you may. But that's... So you can always adjust the ring, you know, while inserting them. And always see that they're getting tight. You can always play them and check. Now here, don't worry about the tuning part because that's gonna come later. For now, we are just, you know, fixing the strings together. That's all. And I'm teaching you the basic way which anyone can do at home with ease, without any problem. Alright, it came out. So just hold it over here, tighten it up. Okay, I just want to tell you one thing, that when you're tightening the strings, maybe this can come in between here or here. So make sure you adjust it on its level where it has to go, and then tighten up the strings. So now we are done with the strings. All we need to do is tune it. For now, I'm using the Guitar Tuner app. It is one of the apps which you can get if you install Musician, and I find this one the best, one of the best guitar tuner you can say. So as a beginner, you can take help with this tool. For now, strum the E string. It's gonna show -65, -55 like that. So that means you have to tighten it up, and if it goes plus, then you have to lower it down. So when I'm playing E, and don't be scared while you're tightening the E, A, D and G. They don't break that easily. So just be careful when you're tuning B and E, otherwise it's okay. E is done. Now we'll go with A. Now see, it's showing me G, which is not the string, so we have to make it higher. Keep on checking the tension over here. Right now it can bend, so I have room available. See, it's near B now, it's showing me -11. Now I'll be very slow. -9, -8, all the way up to B. Done. That's it, we are done. So now you have to make sure that you keep on playing the guitar as much as you can, because when you're changing the new strings, then it has a tendency to go down a note every time you play. The more you play, the more the string's gonna open up. So, and make sure before you have any jam session, before you have any studio recording, or before you have a concert or gig to go for, make sure you never change the strings. When you change the strings, make sure you play the guitar a good level of times, good level of hours of practice you have to do, because then the strings will open up more, and a time will come when the strings will actually, you know, open up to its limit, and then you will be not having this issue that your tuning is going down while you're playing or something like that. So that's it. Hats off. Try this method for your ESP LTD, EX50, or any electric guitar. It's the same way, just the methodology will remain the same. Equipment may be different, and that's it. We are done. So take care. Subscribe to our channel, click the bell icon so you can receive the notifications, because me and Joel will be sharing some more videos for the extreme beginners, that how you can pick a guitar, bass or acoustic guitar, like electric, acoustic, bass, anyone, and how easily within a month's time you will be able to master the scales, the chords, each and everything. And then, believe it or not, it's all practice and it's not a rocket science. We will teach you in such easy steps that you will enjoy. So enjoy playing.